So something that's wonderful about our field is what you guys touched on was the support, right? That over supervision. What about the businesses and career paths that don't have that? So there are a ton of career paths out there like Amazon that you don't have a supervisor follow you around or a supervisor that has to come and work with you a percentage of the hours that you work. So something that we do here at BDA, which we all know and we do weekly, is our weekly survey. And I think that's a great way for businesses to ensure that their staff are not experiencing burnout, and if they are, they can catch it early to increase the retention rate. So weekly, what we do is we have a survey that we all are expected to fill out, and within that survey, there are a few things trickled in there that may be important for staff to know. But the biggest part of it is your job satisfaction. And if you need to speak to somebody, or if you're feeling disgruntled in any way, or that you have something you need to get off your chest, and that is one good catch-all way to make sure that your staff is happy and supported within their current position. And if they're not, you can catch it early enough to possibly save an employee like Brett was speaking about earlier.
Yeah, and the key to that weekly survey, I believe, is just not overcomplicating it. And I know in our field, we want to measure everything down to the minute, down to the operational definition, to the rate. But there are some things that are difficult to measure, and satisfaction is one of them because so many things go into it. That's why I kind of like the rating system, because I feel like if they're just rating on a 1 through 5 scale, it opens up the opportunity to ask more questions. And we've spoken about this in other leadership presentations, but if someone says that, so 5 is excellent, how they feel about their job, and 1 is poor, and they rate a 3, but previously you look at their history and they were all 5s, they were very happy with their role, it gives you a starting point to at least have a discussion. So when they say they're an average, a 3, when you think about it, that could be the first sign of burnout. And if there are too many weeks in a row they're listing a 3, it's important for us to reach out and say, okay, what is it that changed? It gives you an opportunity to say, what would make you feel like a 4? And sometimes, again, those things are real simple things, like the break for an hour. One employee, their car kept breaking down, so we set a time limit. It's expensive, but it all pays off in the end if you're producing quality services. So for that individual, we just got a rental car for them for a week, and that stress was relieved. You know, I can think of many, many examples where I believe leaders, and I've seen you guys all do this, need to look at the person as a whole, their lives, and you can help them with a pivotal matter like a car, because that's pivotal. You can't work. I think all too often employers are too worried about the costs in the short run without realizing that in the long run, that person's happier, they have more longevity. When you have turnover, you know, I see different statistics from like Society for Human Resource Management. I mean, it can cost $50,000 or so just to replace an employee with training. And plus in our field, it's even worse with burnout because the consistency of the behavior analytic intervention, as you know, matters so much, the treatment integrity. I just think that we really need to look at individuals as a whole, not just what they can produce for an organization. And all too often, that's the way people feel. Like, you know, when you interview people, they would say, well, I just felt like a number, and that I was expendable.
I was just gonna say something that was super important that you said was not overcomplicating whatever it is that you're putting in place. So if you have a staff that's feeling burnt out, asking them to fill out this lengthy survey, it would probably get tossed aside and they would say, screw it, I'm already doing so much for work, why the hell do I have to fill out something else weekly? But if it's just that small Likert scale, like you had said, 1 to 5, how are you feeling? And if it's lower than this number, just briefly tell me why, or do you need to speak to somebody?
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important part to highlight.